You are pulling in six figures, maybe even multiple six figures. And yet somehow, every single month, you find yourself staring at your bank account wondering where it all went. You are not imagining it. You are not irresponsible. And you are definitely not alone. What you are experiencing has a name. And today I am going to break it down so clearly that by the end of this video, you will never look at your paycheck the same way again. Here is the uncomfortable truth that nobody talks about at the office or at dinner parties. A high income does not protect you from being broke. In fact, for millions of people, a high income is the exact reason they are broke. And I am going to show you exactly why that happens, what psychological traps are keeping you stuck, and most importantly, what you can actually do to fix it starting today. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine two lines on a graph. One line represents your income. It climbs steadily, maybe sharply, as your career advances. The second line represents your spending. Now here is the problem. For most high earners, those two lines move together almost perfectly in sync. Your income goes up, and almost immediately, your spending matches it. That tiny gap between those two lines is your actual financial life. Your net worth lives in that space. And when that gap is razor thin, it does not matter if the green income line is touching the sky. You are still broke. This is what I call the income illusion. You see the big number on your paycheck, and your brain registers success. But success and wealth are not the same thing. Income is what flows in. Wealth is what stays and compounds. And the brutal reality is that for most high earners, almost nothing stays. So why does this happen? Why do smart, hardworking, highly educated people end up with nothing to show after years of big earnings? It comes down to three major forces working against you simultaneously. The first force is lifestyle inflation. The moment your income jumps, your entire standard of living expands to absorb it. This is not just about buying nicer things. It is about locking yourself into a higher financial baseline. You do not just get a bigger apartment. You sign a mortgage on a house that costs 4 times what you actually need. You do not just upgrade your car. You commit to a lease on a luxury vehicle that bleeds you every single month. And here is what makes this so dangerous. These are not one-time purchases. They are contracts. They are recurring obligations that anchor your spending line right next to your income line permanently. Once you move into the bigger house, you need to furnish it, maintain it, heat it, and insure it. The spending does not just creep up, it teleports to a new level and digs in. Think about this real scenario. Someone earning $300,000 a year takes home maybe $18,000 a month after taxes. That sounds like a lot of breathing room, right? But then consider what commonly happens. A large mortgage payment with property taxes, 2 car payments, private school tuition for the kids, student loan repayments, and suddenly more than 80% of that take-home is already spoken for before groceries, utilities, or anything resembling a vacation. That person is making $300,000 a year and living paycheck to paycheck. That is not a hypothetical. That is the everyday reality of high-income poverty. The second force working against you is what I call stress spending. High earners tend to work incredibly demanding jobs. Long hours, high stakes, constant pressure. When you come home emotionally drained night after night, your capacity to be disciplined with money drops dramatically. You are too tired to cook, so you order expensive takeout. You are too burnt out to research vacation options, so you just book the 5-star resort because it is easy. You spend on comfort, because comfort feels like survival when your professional life is relentless. And here is the trap inside the trap. You buy all these comforts to cope with the stress of your job. But the comforts create financial obligations that force you to stay in the stressful job even longer. It is a closed loop that tightens with every swipe of the card. The third force is status signaling. When you operate in high-earning professional circles, there is immense social pressure to look the part. The right car, in the right parking lot, the right zip code, the right school for your kids. You are not just buying things. You are buying acceptance and identity. And your brain justifies it by saying, you worked hard and you deserve it. But here is the irony I want you to sit with. The colleagues around you who are flashing the most expensive status symbols are often the ones under the most financial stress. You are not copying success. You are copying anxiety dressed up in leather seats and granite countertops. Now, before we go further, I want to mention something important. If you are watching this and you recognize yourself in what I am describing, you need more than just awareness. You need a real system. That is exactly why the Wealth Accelerator Academy exists. It is a group coaching program and course specifically designed to help high earners break out of this cycle and build genuine, lasting financial freedom. The link is in the description below. I highly encourage you to check it out, especially if you have been feeling like your income should have gotten you further by now. Now let me show you the way out, because the solution is simpler than you might think. It is not about extreme frugality. It is not about canceling subscriptions and skipping coffee. Small expenses are not why you are broke. The solution is about controlling 3 major financial decisions and automating your wealth building so that your behavior cannot sabotage your strategy. The 3 decisions that will make or break your financial future are your housing, your transportation, and your lifestyle baseline. These are not lifestyle choices. They are financial architecture. Get them right and everything else becomes manageable. Get them wrong and no amount of budgeting will ever dig you out. Here is the key principle. When your income increases, your fixed expenses must not increase at the same time. Not immediately, not for at least 12 months. When a raise comes, let your savings rate absorb the difference first. If you can keep your spending flat while your income rises, that widening gap between the 2 lines is where your wealth actually gets built. It sounds almost too simple, but almost nobody does it. Because the social and emotional pressure to upgrade your lifestyle feels absolutely overwhelming the moment that bigger paycheck arrives. Here is what the math looks like. When you do get this right, if you are earning $300,000 a year, but choose to live on $120,000, you have roughly $15,000 a month flowing toward investments, debt elimination, and building real assets. In 5 years, with compound growth working in your favor, your net worth trajectory becomes something completely different. You start to need less money to sustain your life, which means your financial freedom target actually gets smaller while your wealth grows bigger. You are attacking a smaller problem with a larger weapon. Compare that to someone earning the same salary, but spending it all. They need an enormous nest egg to sustain their inflated lifestyle in retirement. They are building a bigger prison, not a path to freedom. Every dollar they spend on status is a dollar that chains them more tightly to the job they probably already want to leave. The automation piece is critical too. Do not rely on willpower to protect the gap between your income and your spending. Willpower is a finite resource, and it runs out when you are stressed, which is exactly when you are most likely to make bad financial decisions. Instead, set up systems where the money you intend to invest never touches your checking account. It gets redirected automatically before you ever see it. You artificially create scarcity in your day-to-day account while your actual wealth builds silently in the background. Your brain adjusts to the money that is available. When less is there, you spend less, naturally and without suffering. There is also a mindset shift that changes everything. Start pricing purchases not in dollars, but in days of freedom. If you earn $1,000 per day after tax, and you are considering a purchase that costs $60,000, that purchase costs you 60 days of your life. 2 full months of waking up early, fighting traffic, managing stress, and missing your family. When you frame it that way, most status purchases become obviously not worth it. The things you genuinely love and that bring real joy will still pass that test. But most of the spending that is quietly draining you will not. Financial education is also part of the equation, and it is genuinely underrated. High earners are frequently targeted by financial product salespeople specifically because they earn a lot and often know relatively little about investing. Understanding the basics of low-cost index funds, tax-advantaged accounts, and how to identify a true fiduciary versus someone selling a commission-based product will protect you in ways that years of hard work cannot. A few hours spent educating yourself on money will deliver a higher return on your time than almost anything else you could do. The ultimate goal here is not to accumulate the largest possible pile of money. It is to reach the point where your investments generate enough income to cover your lifestyle. When that happens, work becomes a choice instead of a requirement. That is real wealth. That is genuine freedom. And it is absolutely achievable on a high income if you stop letting your spending line chase your income line. If you are ready to stop guessing and start building a real plan toward financial freedom, the Wealth Accelerator Academy is the place to be. It is a group coaching system and course built for people who are serious about closing the gap between where they are financially and where they know they should be. You will find the link in the description below. Do not let another month pass where your income earns you nothing but more stress. So let me bring this home. Earning great money and still feeling broke is not a personal failure. It is a systemic trap that catches almost everyone who does not have a specific strategy to avoid it. The income comes in, the lifestyle expands to meet it, and the gap where wealth is supposed to grow stays permanently thin. The fix is not complicated. Separate your spending from your income. Control the 3 big financial decisions. Automate your investing. And start measuring your purchases in freedom rather than dollars. You have the income. What you need now is the system. Drop a comment below and tell me which of the 3 traps hit closest to home for you. And if this video helped you see your finances differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I will see you in the next one.